Hello folks, and welcome back to what is almost certainly going to be the final part of my playthrough of Notorious. I am the Lone Adventurer. Thank you very much for continuing to join me in this series. I hope you've been enjoying it. If you have, please do consider subscribing to my channel and dropping a comment below to let me know what it is you've been enjoying, or to comment on the game in general. Alright, let's push on. Now we have just encountered, or ZX99 I should say, has just encountered our first lead in our hunt for Rudi Vallay, who assassinated someone in the Red Moon faction. Who did he assassinate? He assassinated the Red Moon leader, Zix 13th. So we encountered our first lead, who was Zeke, argumentative but well-known fighter who had helped Rudi in some way, and we managed to overcome him in combat and kill him. So we are one step closer to finding our prey. We are back in the exploration phase. We need to roll on the exploration table and see if we encounter a lead. Nothing eventful happens. Gain 1 motivation and roll a die. Let's see what happens. 6. What dangerous terrain do you successfully navigate? Alright. Well, motivation is handy. Alright, so we continue exploring and encounter a bridge that is disintegrating into the waves. We manage to get across. And on the other side of the bridge we find our next destination. 4. A small town run by locals. Sounds familiar. Yes, the town around the Juta research station. So we've come back to somewhere we've been before. So we've arrived at the town next to the Juta research station. We either need to roll on the destination events table or speak with a local. I think we're going to go for an event. 4, 5. 2 sneering thugs notice your scar and shout insults at you. They must be brave, stupid, or extremely confident. Roll a die. 4. They're hostile and follow you into an alley to brawl. How do their movements give away that they're professional pit fighters? Alright, I'm not feeling particularly inspired for the how do their movements give away that they're professional pit fighters, so I guess that the movements just do. They look like pros. And they get a +2 attack modifier, and there's 2 of them, so I need to defeat both of them. Alright. That's a rough start. That is a rough start. Now I'm also getting a +2 attack modifier using my sharp metal limbs. So that means I've got 4 and they've got 8. Now this is a tricky one, because if I use one of my motivation, if I re-rolled this one, even if I rolled a 6, I'd still be getting equal to them. And then if I re-roll theirs, I'd be hoping for a 1 in order for me to come out on top. So it's not really going to work. So I think I'm going to let them win this first round. If you remember, I've got blast plating armor. The first 2 times they beat me, my armor protects me. So they need to defeat me 2 times, and then a 3rd time after that, once my armour has been depleted. Let's have another go. That's more like it. 6 for me, +2 is 8. 3 + 2 for them is 5, so I win the 2nd round. However, there's 2 of them, so that only takes out the first one. I need to do it again with the second. 3 + 2 for me is 5. 4 plus 2 for them is 6. Do I use a motivation? I'd be hoping for a 5 or a 6. Now, I still have a point of defence, so I think I'll let that attack get me, but that does mean that I can't allow another attack to succeed unless I want to fail, which I don't really want to do. Okay, so I've got 6, my opponent has 8, so I think I'm going to use 1 motivation, and if this doesn't work, I'm not going to use my other motivation up on these guys. I will let them defeat me. Can I do that? Am I allowed to not use my motivation? Okay, we'll worry about that once I've rolled this dice. So let's see, I'm hoping for less than a 4 here. That's a 6 again. And it says, if you fail an attack after exhausting defense and motivation, it's time for you to roll for your fate. So I guess I just have to keep on using my motivation. So I'll use the next one. So I've only got 1 motivation left, which is quite sad. And let's see if we can roll a smaller number. That's annoying. I need a 1, 2 or a 3, because that, now we've both got 6, 4 plus 2, 4 plus 2, and they win on a draw. We need less than 4. Okay, finally. Well, that was annoying. That depleted all of my motivation, but I eventually defeated the pit fighter thugs, and I'm going to kill them because I want the notoriety. So I'm going to kill them both in the alley. So I now have 6 notoriety. So we're back on the exploration, and chances are we're going to discover a lead. 3. If your notoriety is 5 or higher, you will encounter a lead. So we do. So this is our second lead. Just to remind you, when we encounter a third lead, it turns out that it is our target, Rudi. So this is the second lead, and the next one will be our target. We need to roll for a showdown. 3, 1. You know they're aboard a speeding freight hover train rapidly approaching you. And 1. You're both caught in heavy rain, wind or sandstorm obscuring your vision. Awesome. I know what that means. Let's just find out who it's going to be. So we need to roll for species and personality. 11. Ooh. Gives us the Cherin, which is a bear-like species. So a little bit like the Wookiees, I would imagine. And what is the personality of this Cherin? 1. Vain, cocky or arrogant. Right, so I've written that I track my next lead to a speeding freight hover train as a storm approaches. I locate the lead on the train. It's a cocky Cherin called Bindi, and I chase him up onto the roof of the train, and that's where we have our showdown. So we need to roll to find out who exactly Bindi is in this story. Right. 1. They're a coward bureaucrat, somehow aiding your target. Roll for their faction, and then resolve all. So the faction is the challenging faction, which is the Trade Alliance. And then we need to resolve all these things. So even though they're a cowardly bureaucrat, they're still going to attack me. Alrighty. How do their actions help to further their political goals? Alright, so I've written that this bureaucrat, Bindi, hoped to fortify their position in the Trade Alliance by aiding in the assassination of the Red Moon leader. We're going to speak with them. 3. A faction is ruthlessly covering up your target's actions. What happened to the last person who revealed too much information? So obviously this seems to me like a trade alliance cover-up. Rudi was working for the trade alliance in an effort to reduce the power of the Red Moon Syndicate, who is the minor faction on this planet, and the last person who gave away info about all of this stuff was thrown into the stormy waters of the planet that we are on. Just realised that I skipped over the roll to see if we were successful in talking to this lead. Never mind, let's just say I was successful with that. I tend to do quite well with those rolls. Alright, so the final thing is they're going to attack me. Now, they have +1 attack modifier, so they're not too strong, but +3 defense, which means that I have to successfully hit them 3 times in order to overcome their defense, and then a 4th time after that. So let's get straight into it. 3 + 2 for me, so that's a 5, and 2 + 1 for Bindi, so that's a 3. So my first attack is successful, but I have to hit them 4 times. That's what I said, isn't it? Yep, 4 times. So that's the first successful attack. 2 + 2 for me is 4. 4 + 1 for them is 5. That's a fail. Okay, so they win the second round. So that's 1 to me and 1 to them. Let's keep going. And I've got 2 defense, if you remember. So Bindi's got to hit me 3 times. Right, so that's a solid success for me. So that's my second successful hit on Bindi. That's good as well. 2 + 2 for me, 1 + 1 for him, so I've got 4 to his 2. So that's 3 successful hits on Bindi, which means if I do it again, I will successfully defeat him. That's annoying. 3 + 2 is 5. 5 + 1 is 6. So 5 to 6. So they have got me that time. So that means that Bindi has done 2 successful attacks on me, which has taken out all my armour, and I have done 3 successful attacks on him, which has taken out all of their armour, which means that this final attack will decide the ultimate victor. And that's me. 3 + 2 is 5, 1 + 1 is 2, so I am successful. Alright, so I can spare them or I can kill them. Now I'm already at 6 notoriety, so I'm already pretty well known, so there's no real reason to kill him. So I will spare Bindi and gain 1 favour. So that's our second lead. That's our second lead done. That happened on the way to a destination, so now we need to roll for that destination. 2. A small outpost or enclave. Enclave? So this is back at cargo ship TA-42, and I think I will search again. Will I search? Oh, no, I'm not going to. I'm going to speak with a local and then rest to gain motivation. I need to roll to see if I'm successful. So that's 4, plus I get half my favour rounded down, but it doesn't really matter because they've got 2 anyway. So I'm successfully engaging a local in conversation. Who is it? It is someone who once fought in the ongoing intergalactic war. Why do they regret taking part? Keeping this one fairly simple. I've spoken with a local who is a veteran of the new uprising, and this individual was badly injured in combat, and that's why they regret taking part. Alright, so I also gained 1 motivation. That's good, because I got no motivation, and I suspect I will need it when I encounter Rudi. And we're going to go back on the road and restart the exploration phase. Here we go. 3. If your notoriety is 5 or higher, you encounter a lead. So we are not encountering a lead, we are encountering Rudi. With the information that we got from Bindi and Zeke, we were able to finally locate Rudi. So our target. Where are we finding Rudi? Where is he? 6-6. So we catch up with Rudi at their starship just as they're preparing to board and leave. How perfect is that? And a starfighter battle breaks out in the sky above, bombarding the area with debris and stray laser fire. What an epic finale. Okay, so we need to roll on the target's table. 6. Bathed in light or shrouded in shadow, Rudi wears the robes of the Mystic Order. They appear calm, despite the situation. What is the Mystic Order trying to achieve by maintaining a presence here? Well, that seems pretty clear. The Mystic Order are the controlling faction on this planet. They've seen that the Red Moon Syndicate is beginning to gain in power. They were threatened by that, and so they got one of their own, Rudi, to try and take him down. So we need to speak with Rudi. So I'm adding 1. Oh, it says here, didn't see this. If you're speaking with a lead or target, you automatically succeed. No need to roll. Okay, so that wasn't the problem earlier. So let's just roll to see what we're talking about. 2. Your target was coerced into their actions. Oh, so he was coerced as well. Right, so Rudi reveals that he is Mystic Order and was forced to take on the assassination of the Red Faction leader. Not Red Faction, Red Moon, the Red Moon leader. Right, so we need to get down to it. We need to defeat Rudi. They attack you in melee with a distinct glowing weapon. It's a lightsaber, but I like how tongue-in-cheek this game is about their Star Wars influence. So +2 attack modifier and +3 defense. So I've got to hit Rudi 4 times to be successful, and he needs to successfully hit me 3 times. Let's do it. The final confrontation. Oh, that's a good start. So that's 5 + 2 for me, 7, 4, that's 2 + 2 for him, 4. So I win this first round. Let's keep that up. That's good. 4 + 2 for me is 6. 2 + 2 for Rudi is 4. So I have successfully hit him again. So that's 2 points of his total 3-point armour that has been depleted. Oh wow, this is going a bit too well, isn't it? So that's 3 + 2 for me, which is 5. 2 + 2 for him, which is 4. So this is just a bit of a whitewash so far. So that's all his armour defeated. If I win the next round of attack, then it will be all over. Alright, So that's 5 plus 2 is 7. 6 plus 2 is 9. So that is not good. So I'm going to use my 1 point of motivation to re-roll his dice. Hey, and that paid off. So I've got a total of 7. He's got a total of 4. That's the final attack successful. And Rudi is down. Alright, so if you manage to defeat them, you can choose to capture them to gain 2 favour, kill them to gain 1 favour, or let them go and lose 2 favour. So I can choose to let them go. I think being a robot, I'm not able to make such nuanced decisions. I think I'm just going to kill him. I'm going to kill Rudi, as that is what I have been... Or do I... Because I've already got 5 favour, so I don't really need that much more. So I'm going to kill him. Gives me 1 more favour, taking me up to 6. And then we move on to the epilogue. To determine your epilogue and finish the game, multiply your motivation by 2 and add it to your favour. Well, my motivation is 0. Look at the result on these pages. So I've got 6, a favour of 6. Your actions have caused harm to the population of this planet, either directly or inadvertently. You've become a trigger in someone else's story now. What is their defining memory of your time here? If you continue your story with the same nomad, you start the next game with 0 notoriety, 1 favour and 3 motivation. Cool. Right, so who have I triggered that I encountered? Right, so I've written that I defeated and killed Rudi, but that I caused harm and that I triggered the child of one of those who was killed by the monster that I refused to fight. And there we go, that's the end of the game. I might choose to carry on with this character. I'm just trying to think how this could have ended more positively, because obviously I had very high favour. And you multiply your motivation by 2, so it's quite important to try and end with some motivation, because all I had to do was go up to the next stage and I would have had a more beneficial ending. But there you go, that is Notorious, and I think it's a pretty clever little game, and I really do quite like it. If I were to change something, I think I would possibly consider expanding the options available in the exploration and destination tables. Now, I think probably I've got a couple more games in me before I start finding these repetitive. And some of these events do split down into multiple options depending upon the roll of a die. But ultimately I do suspect that these tables will become a little repetitive at some point. Now I know this and the other things I'm going to suggest would obviously increase the page count. So I think these suggestions really are for opportunities for additional supplements, and I really do hope that we see Jason producing some supplements. So that's the first thing I'd like to see, some expanded exploration and destination events. That would be really cool. I would also like to see a little bit more game around what happens if you upset or get on side with the different factions. And it makes me think a little bit of Star Wars Outer Rim, where you have a little tracker for your relationship with each of the different factions in the game, and you can your relationship with them becomes positive or negative. Let me find it. Here we go. So for each of the 4 factions in the game, for example the Imperials, if you do something that upsets them, then your relationship with them decreases, and if you do something that they like, then your relationship with them becomes positive. And then that affects other stuff that happens in the game. So I think that'd be quite cool in this, in some way, to sort of track your relationships, the status of your relationship with the different organisations, the different factions, and maybe that could impact stuff further down the line. And I think there's also opportunities to create greater depth to the planets, more information about the planets, and definitely more information about the species. In fact, that might be higher up for me. I'd like to see more details about the species. I'm not really sure what form that would take, but that would be cool. But all that being said, what a fantastic little game. I hope you enjoyed this playthrough. Please do subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed this adventure and you want to see more just like it. I've been the Lone Adventurer. Thank you very much for joining me, and I'll see you in another one. Bye for now.